Hello everybody. So I am using this cut file from the Confessions of a Paper Addict, and that's the wrong. I have put this down with some temporary adhesive, and I am going to paint over it and kind of use it more as a stencil. Now, keep in mind, I have never done this before, so I don't even know if it's going to work. But let's see how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward. I will be using some dilution paints in the blue, pink, this teal color, and white. Oh, and yellow as well. And let's just see what we can make. Okay guys, now that I have that laid down with temporary adhesive, I'm going to go over the entire thing with some white acrylic paint. And this, what it's going to do, it's going to kind of seal down that stencil so that when I start adding the color is not going to blend underneath or, move underneath that paper. The other reason why I wanted to do the white as well is because I did not want these colors to be super bold. So I am mixing a little bit of the white paint with each of those colors just to tone them down a little bit. And as you can see, I'm going to start with the blue on the top, then the teal, then I'm going to follow that up with the yellow, and finally at the bottom I'm going to be using pink. I love how this turned out, and the temporary adhesive really did do the job. I wasn't sure how it would work, but it really did turn out really cute. So I'm going to carefully pull this up while it's wet. It's important to do it while it's wet. If it dries, you will never get this off. It's almost like glued on there if you leave it to dry. So I'm going to speed through and kind of fast forward with me taking it off, because it did take a little bit of time. I wanted to go really slowly so that I wouldn't get paint everywhere and that I didn't smear the print underneath. So I do take my time, and I really, really love how it turned out. I will be honest, it's much brighter than I had expected. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do to tone it down. And I ended up taking a little bit of white paint and then just like a dry baby wipe. And you'll see me kind of pouncing on the color there in just a minute here to just tone it down. Here's where I'm trying to kind of tone down those colors. And it does work. It did definitely tone it down a bit. It's still out of my comfort zone for brightness, but I really do like how it turned out. And I like the idea of using your stencils in a different way. And this was one of my favorite stencils that Virginia has in her shop. I love it so much. She's got so many beautiful cut files. Definitely make sure you check out the link below. And definitely go to the Facebook group, Confessions of a Paper Addict, and you can see all sorts of inspiration of those of us on the design team, as well as many other ladies just posting their layouts in that group. It's such a great, inspiring group to belong to. So I found this circle cut, like this paper with a circle cut out that I had just setting aside from another project. And I thought, this is what it needs. This toned it down, made it less busy, where I still got to see a big bulk of that pattern in the color, but it didn't seem so overwhelming because it had that white paper to kind of let your eye rest. So I decided to do kind of a circle design, obviously, now that I've got a circle here. And I'm going to simply back my photo in that green paper, which is from the New Horizon collection. And I'm just going to kind of do somewhat of a wreath around that circle. So what I did was I used a couple of stamp sets that had different flowers, and I used a black ink, and I did this off camera because it was a very repetitive process, And it was simple stamping with just a stamp block, black VersaFine ink, and white cardstock. And I just stamped out a bunch of flower stamps that I had in my stash, and I fussy cut them out. And then I'm going to end up bordering half of that circle with those. So I couldn't come up with a good title, but I knew I wanted somewhat of a longer title so that I could fill a good portion of that top part of the circle. And I ended up calling this one Easter Memories. And I decided to do a black photo because I didn't feel like it would be right to add more color since, I have so much color on the background. And then I thought by adding some more color, it might take your eye away from that print that was made on the back and then the photo itself. And since the photo is black and white and the flowers are black and white, I felt like the black title was perfect. I did happen to have 2 different fonts of this same thicker. I'm really sorry I don't know the name of it because I do take my thickers out of their original packages and put them in some 6x12 sleeves for storage. But they were both a black glittery thicker, and I love the idea of using 2 fonts. Now, you can see, you might not notice this, but as I was watching this on the playback, I noticed that the space between Easter and Memories was there was an awkward gap there. So you'll see in the end where that's kind of changed, and I moved Easter over a little bit so it does not look so strange. And you'll notice that at the very end. I do not do that on camera, but you'll notice it on the very end. So, like I said, I've stamped out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 5 different florals, and I'm going to layer those along the bottom half there. Some of them I put up on pop dots, some of them I laid flat. And then what I did is the paper that I used the stencil, like the actual cut file, it's now painted. I ended up cutting out a couple of flowers, a blue one and a pink one, from the middle of those Easter eggs, and I used those as flowers as well. And I like that little addition of color. I wish that I had more flowers. I really wanted a green one or a blue one, but it just didn't work out that those colors did not have the egg with the flower in it, so it didn't quite work, but that's okay. I considered using those Easter eggs. I cut some of those out, and I was going to use those as an embellishment to the left of the photo, but they were just way too big, so I went ahead and decided not to do that. So I did not know what to do with embellishments here. If I would have added something, I just didn't have anything in my stash the right size, the right texture, the right color. So I just opted not to add anything. And what I end up doing is just adding some sequins along that bottom section and kind of up on the upper left-hand corner of the layout where those flowers are. And that adds some sparkle and some shine. And I think with the addition of that, I really do feel like it did complete the layout. And you'll see me adding those sequins here shortly. I'm putting down the glue everywhere. I'm going to add those sequins, and then it's going to be done. I did back this whole layout with a very, very, very thin black and white pattern paper just to anchor it on something. And you can barely see it in the camera, in the video, but it is backed with a very thin black paper. And I like how that works as well. So I really encourage you to get out your cut files, use them as stencils. You can use paint, you can use ink. You can use the Tim Holtz sponge daubers with the distress ink and do some blending. And if you use some repositionable adhesive and you don't push down too hard on the cut file, you really can use any of those as a stencil, and they make great backgrounds. I really love how this turned out. And I loved just using the Cutfiles in a different way as well and be able to make your own background paper out of it. So I definitely encourage you guys to do that. If you use any of the Cutfiles from Virginia's shop, definitely go and post your photos in the Facebook group so we can see what you all have done with those and get some inspiration from you as well. We're really excited to see what you all come up with. So I'm going to leave Virginia's link to her shop. It's COAPA, Confessions of a Paper Addict, and it's on Etsy. So if you just Google it or go to Etsy and put in those letters, it should pop up for you very quickly. She's been putting out releases, I think once a month maybe, new releases, and she's got a release coming out in a couple weeks that's going to be really fun and exciting. And we will have some more layouts coming out with the new Cutfiles, and I just cannot wait to play with them. They are so gorgeous and so intricate, and they cut out perfectly. I used the Silhouette Cameo, and I had no problems at all with getting this cut out and getting it removed from my mat. Especially this one was a 12 by 12 cut file that I did. Well, I made it to be a 12 by 12, and I had really no problems at all. As far as my sequins that I used at the bottom, I did use, of course, my Spiegelbaum Scrap sequins, and I just took out a bunch of different mixes. I think I used Happy Vibes, I used Dose of Reality, I used some Confetti Burst. I just kind of went through a bunch of my mixes and picked out the colors that I felt would go with some of those colors in the background, and it worked out perfectly, and I love, love, love how it turned out. And I'm not feeling bad at all about not having embellishments on this one. At first I was really concerned. It just didn't seem finished for me, but I think that's it. So I am going to be putting some photos, close-ups and photos at the end for you. And I really hope that you all enjoyed this process. And I hope you all will come back and see what we do, or what I do, I guess, with my next Cutfile. That will be, I believe, next week or the week after. I think it's next week, actually. It is next week. And see what I do with the next one. See if I can. I'm going to try to come up with some clever ways to use these Cutfiles without just backing them. Although, of course, I love, love, love how Cutfiles look when they're backed with paper, but I really want to show you that there are other ways of using the Cutfiles so that you can get, more use out of them. The nice thing about purchasing a Cutfile is you can use it over and over and over again, so you can, try different techniques with each time you do it. So if you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I have to apologize. I have been a little bit away recently from my computer. I've been having some neck issues, which has prevented me from being upright for very long. And after a long work day, I have been unable to sit at my scrap desk to really do much of anything. Hoping to get that taken care of soon so I can get more content out here for you guys. But I hope you understand, and I hope you'll come back to see more videos. And definitely, if you like what you're seeing, give me a thumbs up. That will help to lead more people to my channel through through YouTube. And if you ring that little bell in the top right corner, that will give you a notification when I have a video uploaded. So I hope you all have a great night. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off with a little bit of music, and you will see my screenshots at the end. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.